We're here today. I've been joined by a good colleague of mine and a friend, the Minister for Energy, Malcolm Wicks. And Malcolm has very kindly said that he'll answer a few questions and talk a little bit about energy policy, and particularly the energy bill. And I guess that'll be a good place to start. We have this massive energy bill in front of us. It's one of the flagship bills of this government. A lot of people out there who don't follow the day-to-day of Westminster will say, why? Why do we need an energy bill? We've got energy supplies coming in, we've got gas, we've got coal. What's the purpose behind the energy bill?
I think there are two answers to that question, and they're interrelated. One, yes, is about energy supply. The oil and gas that we've had in abundance from our own seas, the North Sea in particular, it's still a lot of it there, Hugh, but it's now in decline. It's going down by about 8% a year. So we need to replace that in the future. Also, of course, the electricity that we take for granted from the nuclear reactors that we do have, it's about 1/5 of our electricity today comes from nuclear. That soon will be in decline as well. Why? Because the nuclear reactors are old, they need to be decommissioned. So we need energy supply in the future, and our bill is saying some of the answer to that is more renewables, more wind farms, maybe wave and tidal power in the future, solar panels and the rest. So we're boosting renewables, but we've also taken the decision, controversial I know, but I think it's the right decision, that we should give the green light to a new generation of nuclear reactors. So our bill is about energy supply, but of course it's also about global warming, because we need cleaner and greener sources of energy in the future, and both renewables and nuclear are far cleaner in terms of global warming than just burning more coal and gas and oil.
So it's not just the issue of nuclear. A lot of the press has been full of nuclear, but it's a real balance. We've got the nuclear, we've got renewables, which Wales is poised to be right at the forefront of, both with offshore wind energy and also onshore wind energy. And also, of course, the Severn barrage, which I understand it merited some words within the Energy White Paper, and the review currently going on. The Sustainable Development Commission has just said, well, we've got to have a look at the environmental issues with this, but potentially the Severn barrage could have a big impact as well.
Yes, we've got to boost renewables, I think, really very significantly. I mean, we're making great progress, but at the moment only 4 or 5% of all of our electricity comes from renewables. We've got to get that up to at least 15% by 2015, and actually for various reasons we need to do more. So Wales actually is a leading nation in this respect because of the wind farms, as you say, offshore and onshore. We've just consented to a biomass plant in Port Talbot.
That's right,
which actually is going to be the biggest in the world, I'm told. And then of course this issue, controversial of course, we need to be careful about it, the Severn barrage. And this week my Secretary of State John Hutton is announcing details of a feasibility study into the Severn barrage, partly to look at the environmental impact. You know, what are the difficulties in terms of the environment? Is it something we should do? We're serious about it. We're not gung-ho. We've got to look very carefully at the impacts on local environment.
And if you take it right down to the individual household level, is there also more that we can do, as well as the energy supply, in terms of making sure that our homes are better insulated, that the type of energy that we use is coming from more green sources, as we were talking about now? Because it can't all be to do with these big, whether it's nuclear, whether it's offshore wind farms. There must be more we can do as individuals as well.
I think the individual, really, I mean, all of us, need to become active citizens, on behalf of the planet. And that means, as you say, Hugh, looking at our own homes. I mean, probably most of our homes are energy inefficient. We waste a lot of the stuff. Simple things to do, the loft insulation and so on, maybe more complicated things about some micro generation in our own homes. And also the next time people buy a motor car, if they can afford it, why not think about a cleaner and greener form of transport? So the citizen is crucial to this, not only in terms of what they do in their own homes, but also, frankly, in terms of giving you and I as politicians a bit of a hard time, challenging us to make sure we're doing the right thing by the climate.
Yeah, absolutely right. Now tell me, one other thing, now I know it's not directly within your brief, But the fascinating thing this winter is rise in energy prices and so on. Of course, it was our government that brought in the winter fuel payment.
Was, yes.
At one time, there was literally nothing. As you headed towards the winter, pensioners were left to rely on whatever they had, and very often that was nothing, and you literally had. You can remember the horrendous headlines with pensioners through winters, week after week, dying through the conditions that they had in the houses.
Sure.
Now, we brought in the winter fuel payment, but we've got escalating prices at the moment. Obviously, we're going to keep the winter fuel payment there, but we also have to do much more about those standards of home insulation, making sure that those terrace houses in the South Wales valleys, very old housing stock, they have to be the ones, as well as the new build houses, it's the older houses we have to do a lot with as well.
I think that's absolutely crucial, and Hugh, actually the thing I worry most about at the moment is the impact of rising energy prices on elderly people and other vulnerable households. It's sad really that we've made a load of progress on this. I mean, over 2 million houses across Great Britain, many in Wales, have been made more energy efficient, you know, loft insulation, better heating systems, better boilers. We've done a great job on that. Winter fuel payments, pension credit, also a great job. But now globally, across the whole world, there's a huge demand for energy, prices are going up, and we can't suddenly wish that away. We can't suddenly cap prices, that would be ridiculous. And we've got to think very hard about how we tackle this. We've got to get the companies to do more in terms of social tariffs and their arrangements. And one thing, Hugh, you know this, we've got to do is to make sure that the help is available, actually gets to the people who need it. Yes. Sometimes the most vulnerable haven't heard about these things. I'm determined in government to work harder to make sure that the social security payments, the energy efficiency measures, get to the people who most need it. Many have it, many still don't. You as an MP, me as a minister, we've got to do more about that.
That's brilliant to hear. And listen, there's one thing I have to ask before we sign off, and it's to do with Welsh coal. Tower Colliery, that famous success stories of the miners actually getting together, cooperatively buying out the mine against the Thatcher dictum that all mines must close. Tremendous success. It's kept a lot of people in jobs, well-paid jobs for a number of years. And we still have 250 million tonnes of anthracite under the South Wales coalfield. Is there a future for coal? In this world where we're looking towards cutting carbon emissions and so on, we hear about clean coal technology, new power stations that can scrub out the sulphur and the carbon dioxide. Do you think in this country, are we in a position to make some use of coal?
I mean, let me first say that I think the story of Tower Colliery, which is now coming to an end, is a story of, actually the word dignity comes to mind, great dignity.
Absolutely.
A workforce in those terrible Thatcher days saying, no, we can do something about this, and we will, and I pay tribute to that workforce. The wider question, I think, yes, there's still a great deal of coal in Britain. It's not easy, because to drill for a new deep mine is hugely expensive. But there will be lots of coal burnt in Britain and across the world in the future. But you're right to say that the new technologies, clean coal technology, the carbon capture and storage, so that the CO2 doesn't damage our planet, that is the future. And I'm very proud of the fact that this government, this Labour government, has said we're going to have a major demonstration project in the United Kingdom of carbon capture and storage to make sure it works, and we'll literally be leading the world on that. So there is a future for coal, but it is about clean coal, part of the solution to global warming, and not, as in the past, part of the problem.
Absolutely. Well, that's brilliant. And look, thanks for taking the time to talk with us. And I hope as you've been listening to this, you've understood a little bit about what the big energy issues that are facing us today are. And they come as well on top of things such as the climate change bill, very much hand in hand with a government that's very committed, not only to making sure we have secure energy supplies, that people are warm in their homes, but also that we have the right policies in place to make sure that we're not poisoning the very planet that we live on as we provide our energy. So Malcolm, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome at any time to come down to Ogmore and visit us. We'll show you around the area what we're doing with both with green technologies.
I'll take you up.
Well, that'd be brilliant.
Thank you.
And thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well done.